mean, my great-grandfather started in lumber, but when the train came to Masardis was a train station, that all changed. All of a sudden, there was people that had interest in hunting moose and caribou. And his first, he actually started a hotel in Oxbow called the Libby Hotel, and began putting up loggers, lumbermen, and then that changed to fishermen and hunters when the train came in the 1890s.
Matt Libby Sr. is a fourth-generation sporting camp operator in Maine. His family has made its mark in Maine's North Woods near Oxbow, starting with the hotel built by Libby's great-grandfather. That hotel became the origin of the Libby sporting camps, and by the 1940s, the lodge was able to offer some amenities.
If you had women in camp, they would put the bed warmers between the sheets, warm it up for them. They had, the linen napkins and tablecloths, and everything was pretty fancy for what they had. Now, they didn't have running water. They had bed springs, the old cross bed spring. I forget what you call them, but with mattresses, depending on what you paid, what kind of mattress you got. Remembering everything came up canoe and had to be sometimes shuttled around the falls, and so it was a big deal to get things there, that 2-day trip.
Just getting fresh milk to the camps established on Libby Island was a 2-day effort, walking a cow up the tote road and swimming it across the island where the main lodge is built.
By tote road, it's 20 miles now, and they would have gone further down the lake to get the island. So it's about, with both ends, it's probably 28 miles to walk that cow. And my uncle, who died, maybe 20 years ago, tells the story. He was chore boy. Chore boy was the kid that did everything around the camp, hauling the woods, filling the buckets full of water, and taking the slop buckets out, all that sort of stuff. Well, he was to bring the cow in one spring. Well, he brought the cow in the 2-day trip up along the tote road. He got him up to the lake to swim him across to the island. The cow got loose and walked all the way back to Oxbow. They couldn't catch her.
When Libby was a young boy, he stepped into his father's shoes, guiding hunters.
Remember, Dad died when I was 5, so Mom was up against it. She had customers coming, and they wanted a guide. She tried to hire a guide ahead of time, but if they called last minute, which might be within the last month, she took who she could get. She had 4 boys, and she used every one of us to guide, whether we knew anything or not. I started guiding when I was 14, and I knew nothing really. I mean, I knew how to hunt and fish, but I wasn't a very good guide, I don't think, back then. But I learned a lot. I can remember some tough days with some tough customers when I was young.
The camps saw some difficult times, but Libby and his wife have reclaimed some of the land that was lost and rebuilt the camps.
When we took over camp, Ellen and I, we were very poor. We were right out of college. My mother financed the camps for us. The camps had done the roller coaster, and I'd mentioned that they had started over when we lost the island and most of the out camps. So when I bought the camps for my mother, it was a lodge and 5 cabins right there on the mainland, and then 2 outpost camps that we used, one on the river and one on Caribou Pond. And then she kept one of the out camps for herself. So we didn't have a whole lot to work with. We didn't have, the roads was a bad 4-wheel drive road and all that, so you couldn't run to town to get things. You couldn't run to town to get hardly. It took all day to get to town and back.
Some of the areas of the wilderness were once only accessible by airplane, but over the decades, the woods have changed.
Well, I never ever thought we'd see a road. I can remember that growing up and laughing that someday we'd be able to drive anywhere near it.